Alright, welcome back. So today we're going to be fixing some bugs and we're going to be adding a little debug function here that allows us to place pieces wherever we want them on the board to start out so that we don't have to keep playing debug test stuff. So for example, this is one of the features we're adding, and then we're also adding or fixing a bug where if you swap two pieces and it should make two bombs, it was only making one. Now it'll make both. And then we're also making it so that if you swap two color bombs together, it clears the whole board. So stick around and let's dive right in. Jumping right in, we're not adding any functionality, but we are going to fix some bugs. So for the most part today, we'll be working inside this grid script. So in my main game window, I'm just going to open the grid script. I'm going to go into distraction-free mode. And there's a few places that we need to fix a few things. So first, the color bomb. There was an error that was happening where if you used a color bomb and you had more than four or more in a specific row or column that were the same color, then it would turn into another kind of bomb, either a row bomb or a column bomb. So we created this variable, color bomb used equals false, and then when you're using a color bomb, in the swap pieces down here, there we go, we checked to see if it wasn't a color bomb before we did the whole match and dim thing, or if we checked to see if it was a color bomb and then treated it appropriately. So what I forgot to do though is in the find bombs. So in the find bombs method, you just need to encapsulate all of the logic inside of another check, and that check is if not color bomb used. So if there was a color bomb that was used, we're not even going to look for any other bombs. So that's the first thing that we need to do to fix, and I already have this fixed because that was one of the very few things I've done off camera. So in the find bombs method, we just need to add if not color bomb used and then indent all of the logic for the rest of the method or function one more indentation level. Okay. Now, first thing that we need to do is if a match would make multiple bombs, it wasn't doing that. And to fix that, we're going to, in this same method here, in find bombs, the reason it's not making multiple bombs is as soon as it finds one of the bombs, it just returns, it exits the method entirely, so it wouldn't find a second or third if it needed to. So we're going to change these return statements here to continue statements. So continue exits the current version of the loop, but doesn't exit the loop altogether, whereas return would not only exit the loop but also the function. We'd have the same problem if we used break statements here, because breaks exit the loop and then there's nothing else in this method after the loop. So there we go. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Oh yeah, and then there's an error in here too. So currently, so this is in the find bomb methods as well. I've got looking over all the things that are in the matches, and then looking over the rest of the things that are in the matches. We have this column, we've got current row, we have this color, and then for some reason I set this color to current column, current row. This should be this column and then this row. Otherwise the bombs aren't going to generate like they should. Next, the bombs aren't counting towards the goal. So what I want to do is in the make bomb function, so wherever that is, I'm just going to collapse these as I look at them. This piece null, find bombs, make bomb. In the make bomb function, before we actually make the bomb, I'm going to do two different things. First, I'm going to call damage special, which will damage the pieces that the bomb has. Like if you're making a match of 4 underneath an ice piece, you want that ice piece to still damage even though the original piece doesn't go away. So we're going to call damage special, and then we're also going to emit the check goal signal. So we're going to call damage special, and damage special requires a, what does it require? a column and a row. And so we'll do current column, current row, and then, yep, that's good. And then we'll also emit the signal to check the goal. So emit signal, check goal, and we want to pass in the color. And so that's going to be all pieces, current column, current row, dot color. And we could cache that earlier, but I think it's fine to do it this way. I'm going to grab these two here. I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to do it for piece 2 as well. So, yep, I'll just copy and paste right there. And then, yeah, all pieces. Actually, I don't need to do this all pieces. I can just do piece 2 since I already have that stored. So let's do that instead. So this should be piece 2. And then up here, this should be piece 1, which is better. Much more readable and easier to understand. All right, cool. So that's going to make the bombs count towards the goal, and it's also going to make bombs destroy special pieces near them. The next complaint was that the bombs aren't chaining very well right now, meaning if you have a color bomb and that color bomb ends up destroying a column bomb, you want that column to also go away. Same thing if you do like a column bomb that has an adjacent in it, you want to clear all those adjacents as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fix that as well. I'm just collapsing these really quickly. I know there's a way I can do this faster, but for some reason I like doing it this way. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at my my match all in column, match all in row, and find adjacent pieces. And then I'm also going to have to find the, let's start with match color here. So what we want to do is we're checking to see for eye and width, for eye and height, if all pieces isn't null and it's not a sinker. If its color is the color, then we're going to match and dim and then add to an array. We're also going to need to, before we add to an array, check to see if it's a column bomb, an adjacent bomb, or a row bomb. So if all pieces ij dot is, what did I call it? Did I call it is column bomb? Column bomb. Then I'm going to match all in column, and the column I'm going to use is I. And then I'm going to do some similar logic for the row and the adjacent pieces. So I'm going to copy this, and I'll paste that here. And so that's going to be row, and then this is going to be adjacent. So this should be is a row bomb, R-O-W, and then we're going to match all in row, but use J. And then this should be J. And then this is going to be, did I call it find adjacent? I called it match adjacent maybe? Find adjacent pieces. And then this needs both a column and a row. Okay, cool. So, okay, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that something similar to this is happening in all of our methods that bomb certain pieces. So the match all in column, match all in row, and then find adjacent pieces. So I'm going to copy these 6 lines here, and I'm going to go down to match all in column. I already have the row and adjacent, but I don't have the color bomb. So I'm going to paste that here. That wasn't very smart. Shift tab to unindent a couple of times. And I just needed one more. So let's get rid of that. So if it's a row bomb, an adjacent bomb, and then color bomb. And then for match all in row, I need to know if it's a color bomb. So I'm going to grab this and add that here. And then for find adjacent, I need to know if it's a row, a column, or also a color bomb. And there's some other issues in this find adjacent method as well that we'll have to fix. So let me just indent this to the correct spot. There we go. Now, so in here, I'm looking for column plus I, row plus j, and then column plus I, row plus j. All of these should be column plus I, row plus j. So column plus I, row plus j, and then the row I want to match is j. So that's wrong somewhere here. Okay, and then this should be column plus I, row plus j, and then match all in column I. Okay, and then this should be match all in column. What did I call the match all color one? I just called it match color. Alright, so this should be match color, and then the color I want to match is all pieces, column plus I, row plus j, and then I need to change this from all pieces ij to column plus I, row plus j. Okay, just checking here to make sure that I got everything. I probably didn't, but that's okay. So for the color bomb, I want to match color, and I want to match all pieces I row dot color, and then change this from ij to I row. Okay, and then for the column, if it's a color bomb, I'm going to match color, and then I'm going to match all pieces, column j dot color, or column I, sorry. There we go, and then this should be column I. Okay, cool. So that should do that. Okay, now another problem that was brought up is that if you swap a color bomb with a sinker, it just the system just kind of freaks out because sinkers don't have a color, so we need to add a check in our swap pieces up here. So up here with swap pieces, so we're checking if it's a color bomb, if either one of them is a color bomb, and then we also want to check to see if either one of them is a sinker. So if is piece sinker, and what I want to check is first piece dot, I think I do columns and rows on this one. Actually, let's do all pieces, column. Actually, let me check really quickly here. The is piece sinker. Where is that little helper method at? Find matches, is piece null, destroy matched. Did I put it up here? I bet I did. This is riveting YouTube content, I know, but I want to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. So, spawn pieces, there we go. Yeah, I used a column and a row for that. So, I'm going to use if is piece sinker column row, or is piece sinker column plus direction.x, row plus direction.y. So if either of those are sinkers, then I just want to swap them back. So swap back, and then I'll return from here, which means to exit from the method entirely. Alright, so that's if it's a color bomb versus a sinker. The last thing I want to talk about is making a few debug functions here. So I'm going to save this really quickly here. Some of you had asked me about if we wanted to make a game tutorial, how would you do that? And so, okay, good. I misspelled some things here. Alright, so there's all pieces there. I'll bet you I misspelled it somewhere else. PIE, 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 PIE. Okay, maybe that was just the one spot I misspelled it. Let's try this now. Okay, cool. So some people had asked me how you would make a tutorial. Well, in order to make a tutorial, you need to know, well, you wouldn't need to, but the way Candy Crush does it, it tells you specifically swap this piece with that piece. So you'd have to have a defined set of pieces on the board to start with. So to do that, we're going to create a debug method here, and that is going to spawn a preset piece in a certain spot. And the way I thought of to do this isn't entirely intuitive, so I'll do my best to explain it. What I want to do here is I want to make a new vector array, only this time it's going to be vector 3s instead of vector 2s, so that that third value can be a color value. So I'm going to leave all my spawn alone. So up here, where I have all of my obstacle stuff, I'm going to add, so after obstacle signals, I'm going to add another comment here, and I'm going to call this preset board. And so to do that, I'm going to make an export so I can change it in the inspector of a pool vector 3 array, and I'm going to call this preset spaces. Alright, so now I'm going to save that. So now what I want to do is I want to spawn those preset spaces. So I'm going to make another little spawn method here near all my other spawns. So we'll call this function spawn preset pieces. And what this is going to do is first we want to see if there are any preset pieces. So if preset spaces dot size is greater than 0, then I want to do for I in preset spaces dot size. I want to make a piece at that spot, and I already have all the logic for making a piece here. So I'm just going to grab some of this logic right here, and I'm going to use that. So I'm going to say var piece is equal to possible pieces, and the argument I'm going to pass in is preset spaces dot z, or preset spaces I, preset spaces I dot z. So I want to get the z value from that, and I'm going to make that an instance. So that's creating an instance of that, and now here's where I'm going to use that other logic. So I'm going to unindent that. I'm going to add that as a child of the grid. I'm going to set its position to whatever ij should be, but in this case, instead of being ij, it's going to be preset spaces I dot x and preset spaces I dot y, so that x and y value are where they are in the grid, and then I'm going to store them in the grid that way too. So I'm going to copy this and I'll paste it right down here, and then I'll copy this and paste it right next to it. Okay, cool. So now I need to make sure that I'm calling that method before I start putting pieces into the grid. So in my ready, before I do anything else, I'm going to call spawn preset pieces. Alright, so let's take a look at how you would use this. Okay, so now let's test all this out. So I'm going to go out of distraction-free mode here, and I want to set up so that I already have 2 match 5s possible, back to back, to test a few of the specific things that have been going wrong. So I'm going to go to my grid. I'm going to find that preset spaces vector 3 array. I'm going to set my size to be 10. And then for my indices, I'm going to go, so let's say, oh, did I make it a vector 2 when I should have made it a vector 3? Kind of silly if I did. No, I made it a vector 3. Preset spaces, grid. Did I go into the wrong one? I think I went into the wrong one. I did. Alright, so I went into slime spaces for some reason. So I want to go to preset spaces, vector 3. I'm going to make this an array of 10 things. And if you have trouble visualizing this, you can just use a piece of graph paper to lay this out. But I'm going to have the piece at 0, 0 be color 0, which is the 0 index in my possible pieces array. I'm going to have the piece at 1, 0 be the same, the piece at 2, 0 be the same, but the piece at 3, 0 is going to be a different color, and I'm just going to randomly choose index 1. Then 4, 0 is going to be the same as the original color, and same thing with 5, 0. So, oh wait, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I do that wrong? Yeah, I did that wrong. So this one should be the one color. There we go. So 0 and 1 are color 0, and then 2 and 3 are going to be color 1. And then I'm not going to use, 0 and 1 are color 0, 2 is color 1, and then 3 and 4 are going to be color 0, and then I'm not going to use 5. Don't know what I was thinking there. So this is instead going to be 0, 1, and it's going to be color 1. And then 1, 1 is going to be color 1. And then 2, 1 is going to be color 0 to match with the ones below it. And then 3, 1 is going to be color 1. And last but not least, 4, 1 is going to be color 1. So let's save this, and let's see how much I broke. So let's give it a play, and let's see if it worked like I wanted it to. And it did, surprisingly. So here are my preset spaces. Yellow, in my way of doing things, is lost my train of thought, is in index 0, and blue is in index 1. So if I swap these, there we go. So I got 2 color bombs, which is good. So automatically we know that at least one of the bugs is fixed. Now, right now, if I just swap these 2 color bombs, though, that's all that happens. We want swapping 2 color bombs to clear the entire board. So this is the last thing we're going to be adding here today. Now, these multi-bomb interactions are something that you can go super down the rabbit hole with. Candy Crush has a whole bunch of them. If you swap 2 column bombs, it destroys 3 columns. If you swap 2 row bombs, 3 rows, column and row, it destroys a column and a row without needing to match anything. There's a lot of different ways that we can go through that, and it's kind of beyond what this tutorial is to do, especially since I'm going to show you how you can basically do one of those multi-bomb interactions, and then you can check the rest of them yourself, because it would just be me going through the same thing again and again and again, I don't know, for like 10 videos, because there's a lot of them. So instead, I'm just going to talk about the 2 color bombs. So what I want to do here is you want to have it check when you're swapping the pieces. So in my swap pieces here, I'm checking to see if one of them is a color bomb, or if one of these 2 is a color bomb. If is color bomb first piece. Oh, is that how I did is color bomb? That's interesting. Okay, so if one of the 2 pieces is a color bomb, then yeah. Okay, so what I want to check to see, actually let me look at this is color bomb here. This is a weird, why did I do that so that it's return true? It's so weird why I did it like that. because I want to be able to tell if they're both color bombs. So I'm going to have to change this a little bit. So if is color bomb first piece or other piece, I'm going to put this up above here. I'm going to say if first piece dot color is equal to color and second piece dot color is equal to color, then this is where that multi-bomb interaction is going to go. I already made a method to do this, and that's clear board. So if both pieces are color bombs, we're going to clear the board. And then, yeah, I think we're good. Yep, I think we're good. So I'm going to save this. We're going to go out of here. We're going to hit play. And now I don't have to, is it second? Other piece, that's what I did, not second piece. Other piece. Alright, so I'm going to save that. And now I don't have to play the game for X amount of time to test stuff now that I finally implemented this debug method here, which I should have had like a million years ago. So there's those two. And then, ta-da, you win, because I cleared all of the jelly spaces. So that proves that making a match under the jellies now counts towards the goal. Well, I think that always counted towards the goal. But anyway, so yeah, there we go. If you have any other bugs that you find, feel free to share them. I, of course, want this to be as good as it possibly can be, so don't feel shy about sharing any bugs that you find. You can follow me on Twitter, find out when I post new videos. You can join my Discord. There's lots of people there. Super great community that we've built up so far. Yeah, otherwise, I hope everybody out there has themselves a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, or telling a friend who might be interested. Also, please consider following me on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can earn access to tangible rewards, like early access to videos, backer-only videos and series, polls for future topics, streams, and even individual tutoring sessions. You can find a link to that in the description. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.